There's been an increase in the number of people renting over the past decade, according to a new Massey University report. For more, we're joined this morning by the Chief Executive of the Property Institute of New Zealand, Ashley Church. Morena.
Good morning, Jack.
This is no great surprise, is it?
No, in fact, we came and had a chat to you guys back in January and we gave you 7 predictions for the property market for 2018. It's interesting when you look at the last 2 of those, number 6 and number 7. Number 6 was that some property investors will abandon the market and the impact of this on the availability of rentals will start to become a problem in the second half of 2018. And prediction number 7 was that the cost of renting will continue to rise and this will replace the cost of housing as the number 1 housing issue in 2018. So here we are, right on cue. And there was no rocket science in that at the time. It was basically an observation of what was happening in the market and an expectation that it would have exactly the impact that it's having right now.
So why is it happening?
So 2 or 3 reasons, there's a whole range of reasons, but 2 or 3 specifically. The first of those is that investors are leaving the market because of an uncertainty around what's likely to happen with government policy over the next 2 or 3 years. Some of that's anticipatory, some of it's based on things that are actually taking place. So that's having a sort of a deleterious effect on the market. The second one is that the cost of renting is increasing because we've got an increasing population coupled with a shortage of housing. So obviously the pressure of that's causing rents to go up. And the third one's this thing that we refer to as anticipatory pricing. And that's basically pricing increasing in advance of what landlords expect to happen to the market. And that can be anything from lower capital growth. So they're trying to make up for the fact that they're not making money on their properties. And also this expectation that there's going to be an increase in government costs and therefore they need to recover some of that from tenants.
Isn't this just a supply and demand issue? Isn't it? I mean, it's like, you know, we don't have enough houses for the number of people in New Zealand. The people who can't enter the market by buying a house are forced to rent for longer and naturally rents are going up.
Oh, look, at the most simplistic level, absolutely. That's certainly the driving force behind all of this. If we were all in Christchurch or the whole country was Christchurch and we had an oversupply of homes in the market, then we wouldn't be facing the issue that we are at the moment. But we don't, and we've got a long trek of probably 5 or 10 years to get back to the point where we've actually got enough houses. And that's assuming that we actually do that.
Is renting for a long-term option actually a bad thing?
Well, that's a really good question. So there's actually a view in the marketplace at the moment that's increasingly held by some quarters that says that this is actually a choice, that people are choosing not to buy because it's cheaper to rent than it is to buy and that there's some advantages in that. And the fact of that is actually borne out by the statistics. If you go back to 2001, 30 to 39-year-olds owned 56.6% of 30 to 39-year-olds owned their own home. By 2013, that figure had reduced to 43%. So over a 12-year period, a 13%
big drop.
Big drop. So that demonstrates that that's clearly happening. Whether it's happening because people are choosing to not buy or whether it's happening because the pressures on the market are such that it's not possible for them to do so, don't know.
I wonder what figure that would be now, though.
Well, it'll be getting worse, not better.
I was going to say, it must be. It wouldn't be surprising if it had gone down another 10 or 13%, would it?
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be that high, but it will certainly have been a move in the wrong direction. And the problem with that, Jack, is that when you look at what that means for the country, because we've been a property-owning democracy for nearly 100 years. We've been a country that buys property and that's had all sorts of positive impacts. It means in a country where wages haven't perhaps been as high as they might have been in other parts of the world, we've still been wealthy because we've been able to use the equity in homes to travel, to buy businesses and most importantly to actually retire reasonably comfortably with something that's going to enable us to do that. The problem with reducing that property owning democracy with fewer people owning homes is that the ability to do that is much reduced on what it's been in the past.
All right. Thanks for your time as always. Really appreciate it. Ashley Church from the Property Institute.
After the break, why has a stink been raised over some of DOC's activities in Fiordland? And should New Zealanders automatically become donors with a process to opt out?
Where the love go? Where the